I don't know if this is the right place to post this. Hell, we all know that most of these stories are nothing more, and after reading them we can go back to our daily lives, go out into the light again, and not dwell on them. I used to think that was before I saw them. They who live in the shadows, they who thrive in the dark nights when the stars are clouded. That was before I saw the night people. I used to hope that one day I would get a good job, earn some good money, maybe even buy my own house, and live a nice, cozy life. They changed that. I wish every day, fanatically pray every night that I could go back to those days, before they started watching me, started whispering in my ears. Back when I could use my telescope outside to watch the universe itself. Sorry, I once considered myself a bit of a poet. I suppose this is to be my last piece. I was walking from the train station. It was winter, so the night had already drawn in. An inky pall that now covered the city skyline. The friendly streetlights glowed their welcoming orange light upon the pavement. Surrounding me were a number of half-drunken peers hoping to catch the preferred cheap shots at the student union bar before it closed, leaving me in my preferred loneliness. Being an introverted young woman, I never really fit with the revellers and the drunkards. I preferred the quiet solitude of the library. Tonight, though, as I walked to my flat, was when I first saw them. At first I thought they were stragglers that hunched over as they had a little too much to drink while they were in town. But there was something off about them. They did not move and, like statues of shadow, looked directly at me. I could not see their faces. Such was the darkness that now embraced me. A primal urge to turn and run took me. Call it a coward's impulse. Something left over from my school days when most of my break times were spent running from groups of tormentors. I resisted running, but I did walk quicker than usual, looking behind occasionally. After around the 5th time of doing this, I came to the conclusion that they weren't following. So I spent that night doing as I'd always done, lurking on Reddit and typing up assignments. This is what they do when you first see them. They're indifferent, they don't do anything. I was unlucky. Usually there's only one to begin with. I had to do research on these things. I had to. I started my investigation after they appeared a week later. I had just spent the night stargazing, and had just finished packing up my equipment when they appeared again. The night people, as I call them. They were stood on the edge of the field, a group of 5. They just stood and seemed to be looking at me. I couldn't be sure. The darkness was so dense that I couldn't see their faces, never mind which direction they were standing. But the feeling I was being observed was still there. Again, the coward instinct filled me, and I could feel my legs tensing, preparing for the mad dash that was sure to come. It's strange when you're frightened that your memory picks up random details and sensations. I can remember the frost on the ground, new and solid, and the slight breeze biting at my cheeks, the burning of my lungs and the inside of my chest as each footfall shook me as I ran along the dirt path to the other side of the field. I could see more of them, all stood just outside of my sight, right on the border of my peripheral vision. I leapt over the wall, throwing the telescope's case over first, following a moment after. Falling over myself and flipping on my back. For a brief second I looked behind and I could see them advancing up the field, slowly, at walking speed. The sky above was just being tinged with a slight dirty shade of pink. In that moment, that tiny detail lighted some hope in me. The sun was coming to my aid. I quickly got up and again ran. Field after field I ran. Each time I looked back, I could see them coming closer. They were going at a walking speed, yet they were catching up. Their movement, for want of a better words, were glitchy. The foot was on the ground, then in the air with a flicker. Still, I ran, and the dirty pink now mingled with dark orange. Still, the sun was coming. As I looked at the sky, I ran straight into the field wall. Winded and bruised, I stumbled back and fell, once again, on my back. They were still advancing. Even though the light of early dawn was now noticeable, I couldn't see more than I had before. Mere shadows. Now, though, in the dim light, they were getting thinner. I scrambled back, the cowardly caveman in me still trying to escape from them. I grappled to the wall, trying to find some kind of handhold, anything that might give me a boost up. All for naught. They were still advancing. But still, they were nothing but transparent shadows, dissipating more and more with the coming of the light. To this day, I thank whatever good force was working that morning, for as they were one step from me, the sun had risen, and they had disappeared. I rushed home, exhausted and bruised, in need of a good shower. Later that day, I started my research. I have researched in every library and archive I can get access to. The information I have gathered is fragmentary at best, bogus at worst. But it is all I have. I have not spent one night sleeping, for I know that they are just outside my window, trying to get into the shadows that my lamps create. I've taken to sleeping during the day when it's safer. These things, these night people will never stop. Every night I see more of them. I looked out last night and there were around 50, all looking, trying to get in. Those who were outside with them did not even notice them. The night people didn't even regard them. They're after me and all those who have seen them, or those who can. They've been here since the beginning of mankind. A dig in 1912, it seems, led by Professor Bertram Arden, found numerous pictographs in a perfectly preserved Neanderthal dwelling, saying he has found what I presume to be some kind of pre-Celtic deity, or indeed deities that were seen to be like us, but not. Deities that were worshipped in the night. My associate Edward assures me that these pictographs are completely authentic. Such a discovery reshapes our perception of these primitive people. I'm sure that my fellow faculty members will be excited as I am about this prospect. Accounts of these things are found in the Anglo-Saxon chronicles, the monks of Lidensfran, seeing them mere hours before the Vikings raided their monastery. These things, from what I have seen in these texts and more, cannot be stopped. When I sleep, I have nightmares of them. They grab me, pushing all the air out of my body, squeezing tighter still till I can see my very soul drift from my parting mouth. All the while I can hear them whisper, constantly whispering in my ears, a buzzing mass in my mind, asking, begging, cajoling me to become one of them, to join them in the night. That it will all be in the end be a good night. I see monks, I see the professor, and I see General Brandon standing tall and impressive. I see primitive humans, soldiers, Luddites, bankers, shopkeepers, centurions, hobos, everyone that can possibly be, all shadows, all swaying and revelling to the pipes in the darkness. They want me. Please do not go out in the night. If you do, look down, just down. If you hear the whispers, run home, turn on all the lights, stay away from the shadows, and pray to whatever God there must be. Shut out the whispers, go to an institution if you have to. The night people cannot be stopped. They live in the night, they thrive in the shade. When humanity created fire, it was a light in the eternal dark. We had somewhere to go. The Neanderthals, the Homo erectus, they knew. They fear the dark. And so should we. They are the night people, and I must join them.